Good day, friends and followers of Western Cape Teachers Forum. A heartfelt good day and greetings to you. I trust that everybody's keeping safe and having their wits about it in this time that we find ourselves. Firstly, my appreciation to every single teacher team that has sent in their Feel Good Friday videos and their motivational videos. It is an absolute treat. It's heartwarming. And so we're looking forward to the next installment of Feel Good Fridays. If you are still thinking of whether your team should participate, do not even think for 1 minute further. Colleagues, let's get on this thing. Do not be left out. And this is all in our attempt to raise the psychosocial support and the wellness aspect of our teachers during this time. I might not be able to address each and every challenge that we're facing, but it's a small and sincere attempt to lift the morale of our education sector workers, as it were. Now, today, in our quest to empower and educate and excel, to grow the sector from strength to strength, we are chatting tonight to a tutoring service called Math and Me. And today we've got Mr. Brett Van Der Posch, a very posh surname.
Quite the posh name.
Yeah, we've got you on the show tonight. And so, Brett, good day to you. How are you?
Good day, Mr. Lee Hoffmann. I'm good. Can't complain. And you?
Great. Thank you for coming on and for showing us what Math and Me is all about. Now, you know, when I was a high school learner, and here's the thing. Firstly, I sucked at mathematics, but I really scraped through.
Should have dropped that card. Should have dropped that card early. You say.
Then I went on to university, and believe you me, I majored in Afrikaans and mathematics right up until my fourth year. Not because I had a passion for it, but because I wanted to improve my marketability.
There's it.
So the passion is not there, but and I'm reminded of this term, Brett. Mathemophobia. I didn't know that exists.
Mathemophobia. The fear of mathematics.
Yes.
Wow. I'm pretty sure most of our students, before they come to us, they probably would share in that fear.
But I tell you, it was a real fear for me. And I mean, COVID had nothing on mathemophobia in my high school days. Okay, Brett, now let's get into the business of the conversation here today. Math and Me, talk to us about what you guys do. What are you all about?
All right. So, I mean, we are a tuition company, first and foremost. I like to think of us as moving towards becoming an academic support company, a bit of an institution, if you will. But basically, we started when my partner, Julius and I were in university. First, it just kind of started with, it's quite a nice way to make some extra money. But in the tuition process, we both fell in love with it. And we fell in love with empowering students and just seeing the change, the active change we were making in not just helping them improve academically, but we saw the attitudes change. So if they did come with mathemophobia, with most of them, majority of them, we saw a bit of a change where some of them actually started to fall in love with the subject. And I think that's something like that definitely gets you to want to do it more. I'm sure many teachers can agree that when you start to see your students excel, that's really when you see the purpose in what you're doing. And I think we've been blessed enough to have grown from just starting the two of us into the company we are now, providing more than just our one-on-one service in terms of tuition. So that's a bit, guess who we are.
You know, I'm very impressed by that. Jamie is actually one of my former primary school students, and so this is most certainly one of those success stories that one can celebrate. And I mean, I want to commend you guys for the effort that you've put into this initiative. It's amazing. Now, Brett, if you think about, I mean, you've got the institutional knowledge of being at a public school or at a school. So, what are some of the shortcomings in your view that you've identified in the system that you believe Math and Me is able to supplement?
Right. Well, I mean, again, first and foremost, that is our aim, is not to replace education and the teaching that takes place within the classroom, but to supplement it and add on to it and improve maybe where there might be some shortcomings. I find that most of our students that end up coming to us, there is an understanding issue in the sense that in the class environment, they are either falling behind or not understanding. And it's still quite a true thing in the sense where students are scared sometimes to ask the questions when they need to. And obviously teachers can't be blamed for that because, again, like in a public school environment, sometimes, and we've been made known of some schools that have class sizes that are in the high 40s or around the
Yeah.
40s.
50s even.
Exactly. And I mean, putting one individual, a teacher, in charge of trying to make sure that each and every, it's a tough ask. So I guess our role then is to come in and with those that need that extra help, either where it be with a pace issue, where they just find that they're moving too quickly in class for them. Because again, as much as teachers and educators try, it's tough to always identify who is falling behind within a class session, especially with the tough syllabus requirements. Like I know teacher friends of mine, they will chat to me sometimes about how tough it is to actually move through the syllabus at the speed at which is required. So I guess our main role is to ensure that we are catching those that might fall through the cracks.
And so, I mean, I want to add to that comment and say that many of our learners, they will fall through the crack because the curriculum, there's a view that the curriculum was designed for the average learner in mind. And so it kind of ignores the context of the learner, because you would appreciate that each one of us, we come from various backgrounds, and so that impacts the process of teaching and learning. And so, tutoring, in my view, then should maybe some of us will benefit from that particular initiative. Now, Brett, are there certain stigmas around the issue of tuition that you believe is inaccurate, that you've experienced?
I think more so the view. I think especially when we take educators and tutors, there's this maybe misunderstanding sometimes, because I know a past teacher of mine, when I would chat to her just for advice around syllabus or content, she'd always, there's a bit of a distrust, I would say, sometimes, which is also, again, not to blame, because remember, educators have been trained, they've studied, and they've been taught in teaching methodology, whereas majority of tutors would be students that just excel in the subject. Obviously, at Math and Me, we definitely do a rigorous sort of assessing process to make sure that not only do they understand the content, but can they relay that to another individual. But again, because I guess there's no standard or standard body that monitors the quality of tuition, I guess, again, how do we then say that is a good tutor, unless we just take the students' opinion into account? So I think the one wouldn't really be what did you say?
Let me ask you this
Stigma,
question. Yeah. So how do you then measure your success rate as a tutoring service?
Before, it would literally just be on improvement. So we'd hope for the best. I'm not going to lie, in the beginning, we done our best, and then when students improved, that was okay, we are moving into a successful area. And majority of our business spread through word of mouth, which I guess only really happens when you are providing something that people find value from.
Absolutely.
But the issue with that is that as you grow in any institution, the bigger you get, the tougher it is to manage, So we really want to move into a space, and we have put the systems in place to move to a space where we are tracking student progress constantly, in the sense that we're getting data from regular assessing. Our tutors, as best we can, we are ensuring that they are being trained. And because of our personal relationship in the beginning with students, Jamie and myself, we discovered that it's more than just, okay, we're sharing information with you, hoping you understand it and do well in your test. I said, you see that development within students. So us as a company, we're wanting a bit of a holistic improvement. We're wanting students to realize passions that they maybe didn't know they had before through subjects like mathematics, which is foundations on problem solving, that would be, our success would be students realizing their fullest potential.
Now, is there a particular niche market or target age group that you focus on, or is this open to all ages of school-going learners? What are we looking at there?
Again, originally it was anybody that was willing to allow us into their academic lives. But now, as a company, we focus a bit more on the senior grades, realizing that that's a lot where the need is. I would say from grades 5 to matric, with a focus on high school. But again, I'm sure educators know that if there's issues with foundation work, it's very tough to supplement later on. So we try and journey with our students as long as we can. The earlier we get them, then the better.
Yeah. Do you believe that apart from students or learners needing tutoring or after school support?
Sure. Is this going to get me sued, Lee? Is this question going to get me?
Look, I want to disclaim before the gentleman answers that the views expressed on this platform does not reflect the view of the rest. No, what I wanted to check with you, I mean, do you believe that teachers could benefit, mathematics teachers, and because this is your area of expertise, do you believe that mathematics teachers, some of them, could benefit from tutoring themselves? Or is there a need for first-time mathematics teachers? Like, so I complete my studies this year. So next year I start fresh at a high school or whatever. Is there a need for me to get in-class support as a first-year mathematics teacher?
I think that's actually quite an interesting question, because I even just thought about the qualification requiring possibly some sort of tuition even before because I think a lot of the experience I have with quote unquote bad teachers, and again, this is just students that would say, oh, my teacher's a bad teacher, not understanding the weight that teachers are under, obviously, most of the time. I do think that an element of, because I can speak personally from what I've learned through tuition. Firstly, the better you can explain something to someone else, the better you understand it yourself. That is definitely true. So I think the more experience teachers have in terms of sharing their knowledge, maybe at a one-on-one level before moving to a class level, the better. But also, again, there is total benefit in the sharing of knowledge and the coming together. So if you even moving into an environment where there might be a tutor supplementing first-time teachers, there's nothing but benefit that comes from that. Unfortunately, obviously, the resource, then that is where the challenge comes in terms of is that resource available, But definitely, I see,
100%. Now, were you one of those kids back at high school who always sort of, were you in the top 5, without fail? I mean, what are we looking at there in terms of your ratings, your math ratings?
No. I guess that's probably what I had to stand on in the beginning. Is just trust me, I do know. In the beginning, in high school, I found a love for mathematics. I really enjoyed the subject. I found that it wasn't maybe possibly as tough as my other subjects were, and I just honestly believe when you understand something, just the power in that is astronomical. So I was fortunate enough to love the subject early on, which made moving through high school in mathematics much, much easier, I guess. So I was one of those topper ones.
If you have to say so yourself.
Trying to be humble and all. No, I'm joking. No.
Well, such a South African, character trait, humility.
Humility, first on the list.
I'm telling you, Brett, now I want to test your expertise and your skill here, and I'm not throwing you under the bus.
Here we go. But I tell you, it's
Have you got a pen and paper ready?
I need a pen and paper. Okay, let's get.
No, you don't. Sorry, Gosh, I'm insulting you.
No, I think if you asked if I need a pen and paper, the answer is probably yes. Right. Okay, I'm ready. Ready.
This is standard grade stuff for
Always
you, man.
Ready.
I've got the answer in front of me, but I can't even figure it out. I think that's how I suck at math. Okay, so it says the following: 7 boys met each other at a party.
Okay.
Each of them shakes hands only once with each of the other boys. What is the total number of handshakes that took place?
What is 7? I feel like it's 7 factorial. I need a calculator. Wait, 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times... What is it again? Can I get that answer? Okay. That question repeated?
All right. So 7 boys met each other at the party.
Right.
Each of them shakes hands only once with each of the other boys. What is the total number of handshakes that took place?
It would be 42.
No.
This is where we lose our clients. No,
but yeah, okay, it would appear that you're on the right track, but there's just some halving or division needs to take place there, because
All
I've got
right.
the number in front of me, but I don't even know how you got there. So the
All right.
number's
So
21.
21. So half.
I don't know.
Okay, half. Half of
So
that.
how does that make sense? Help me
I
understand.
I just assumed that there would be. So I took the one person out. That's why 7 times 6, right? Because you
Yeah.
can't times 7 times 7 because then he's shaking hands with himself. So I
Yeah.
would assume then he shakes hands with 6 boys. Then the next one would also shake hands. Oh, but he already shook hands. Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
are you getting this?
I'm getting close. But I think I might just need to sign up for a mathematics tutor, check if their availability.
No,
Yeah,
no, no.
I
I didn't
would.
mean
Yeah,
to.
I think
Yeah.
I'm keen on another one though, just to redeem myself now. Um,
Okay. So you
yeah,
want another one?
let's give another one. Yeah, let's hopefully this is
All
a
right.
redemption one.
Okay. Well, this is a very easy one, eh?
Don't
So
say
I
that and
mean,
then I get it wrongly because then it doesn't do anything for my
okay.
reputation.
All right. All right. So X is an
X,
odd number. All
love it.
right. Take a letter away and it becomes even. What is the number?
X is an odd number. Take
Yeah.
a letter
So
away and it becomes even. I would have
yeah.
to say 11. Nope. Nope. No, no, no. I thought it was
What
like a
ri-
trick
what
one.
what what
I thought
rhymes
it
with
was
11?
I thought it was like a trick one. Like take the L away and then it's even. Seven.
Yeah.
Seven. Haha. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Success.
Well done. Well done. Well
Success.
done. Well
Thank you.
done.
Thank you.
Yeah. Listen. In terms of now, just very briefly,
Mm.
to, for successful learning and teaching to take place, especially mathematics, what kind of conditions do one need to operate in from a child's perspective? Physical space, the actual, learning environment type of thing. What in your view would? I'll tell you why I'm asking that question.
You're right.
Where we currently at, schools are reopening during a pandemic. Now there are some that are for, and
Mm.
that there are some that are against the reopening or the opening of schools as it is. Now, the vision of our Department of Education is that quality education must be provided for every child in every
Mm.
classroom in every school in the province, right? Which is a very noble vision. And I want to
Mm.
align myself with that. But my question to you is, do you believe that under the current circumstances, with COVID and the anxiety of parents, and I mean, I don't mean to sway your response here.
No, no, no. Yes.
Um, do we have a conducive set of circumstances in which learning and teaching can take place optimally from a mathematical perspective? I don't know what that math classroom should be looking like.
I do think we need to break this down in terms of the younger ages and then the senior ages. With the younger ages, when it comes to mathematics, I do think engagement is key. You need to get them engaging physically. Again, it depends on the type of learner. But what I find would work best is engaging with physical objects that start thinking around spatial reasoning and stuff like that. Because once that knowledge or that keenness for understanding and how things work comes into play, that's when mathematics, or at least you'll find someone excelling in mathematics, in my opinion. With the senior grades, it's definitely coming down to practicing. And as much, you tell students all the time, practice, practice, practice. Mathematics is a practice subject. It truly is. The more you engage with something, the more familiar you become with it. As humans, that's who we are. So in terms of environments, definitely with the younger grades, they're needing those 3D objects. They are needing to see what is being explained. I still believe that an abacus, right, for counting in the lower grades, and when we look at countries that excel mathematically, in their younger grades, there's no pressure put in terms of assessing. The focus is on understanding.
Yeah.
So I think the same thing, like with the younger grades, make sure that the understanding is there, that foundation is there. They're able to physically see what is being explained until later where they can then visualize most of these things. Again, when
Yeah.
you can physically understand at the younger level, visualization is easier at the senior level. With the seniors, again, practice. But if you're not understanding like where we find ourselves in South Africa with our education system, majority do not understand what they are writing on. as we can see with the results. So
Sure.
yeah, that's a bit of a tough question in terms of for the seniors.
Yeah, yeah. Now, and we've talked about this pandemic, and
Mm.
I'm tired already of COVID-19, but
So
it's
we can
still
leave. I'm
among
ready
us.
for it to
And
leave. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'm so over 2020. Initially we said 2020, and I want to
Yes.
speak to those
Yes.
people that advocate. Anyway, so how has this pandemic shaped the workings of Math and Me in terms of technology, in
Mm.
terms of how you would have conducted your business under normal circumstances? Has there been a change in terms of the approach?
I think with a lot of small businesses, we were sort of taken off guard. Our core service offering was mobile tuition, which constituted tutors going to students' homes, which under lockdown restrictions is a no-go. Even just safety controls around that is a tough one. So for about 2 weeks, we just ceased operations. But I think fortunately enough, we were able to come together and adapt. And that's who we need to be in times like this, adapt. Disruption is the brainchild for innovation, So
Yes.
we try our best to adapt to the current instance because we knew a lot of students would be now staying at home. And again, also schools try to adapt as best they can in terms of
Yeah.
giving work or trying to, record or something.
Sure.
So we managed to take majority of our operations online, facilitate tuition via platforms like Zoom or WhatsApp video. But I would say that it was actually quite fortunate for us, the lockdown, because it forced us to reinvent ourselves,
Yeah.
which led to where we plan to go going forward in adapting technology a bit more into our business, and hopefully education as a whole.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now, very briefly, your current relationship with schools in terms of academic support. Speak to us about that. Which are the schools that you're currently involved in, and how are you able to provide academic support to schools where we are currently?
Right. So we found that with each school requires different needs, and that's just an honest truth, especially in South Africa. So what we do is we want to supply that academic support. So we'll go into a school, check what do they need, chat to the teachers, chat to the department head. What is the school's mathematical needs? So with the one school, we're at a high school, Norman Engelwood, they needed intervention for the struggling learners, so learners in all grades that weren't meeting minimum requirements, right? So with that program, then we make the program suited to that needs specifically, ensuring that there's the right balance of practice, maybe not reteaching, but the covering of the tougher to grasp concepts, stuff like that. We're also at a primary school in Mitchell's Plain, Parkers Primary. There again, the need was ensuring that, I'm sure you're familiar with Parkers Primary. The need
I
is,
taught there for almost 10 years.
there's it. We just wanted to ensure that their grade 7s were set up as best they could be to branch over into high school. So the program we set up for them was specifically for grade 7s, supplying them with the tools that when they do reach their desired high schools, they don't, just small fish thrown into big waters type thing. They land on their feet and they're able to adapt, because we would start leaking a little bit of grade 8 content in the grade 7 already, just to, better tool them for grade 8. So again, it's really tailor-made to any high or any school that requires our services.
Now, for a parent listening to today and wanting to know a little bit more in terms of pricing and thinking, how affordable is Math and Me? What are we looking like in terms of affordability and accessibility to your service?
So in the beginning, again, we tried to reach as many people as we could. So we didn't want to. A lot of tuition companies set their prices quite high. I know tuition, I know from when I was in school, was quite expensive. And we didn't want it to be a tool that isn't accessible to the majority. So we set our prices also on a scale. So the more hours you took, the lower the rate would be, more or less. But with where we're moving now, we're trying to include more resources in the tuition process. So our prices have increased to now 200 Rand an hour set. But with that doesn't just come the tuition. That's what I spoke to, or at least alluded to earlier. We will do weekly assessing not intensive, but just so that we can track data to make sure that a student is progressing for early intervention, rather than the end of the term we see, oh, this is the result. Now, how do we address it? And things like that. So our price at the moment is at 200. We understand that maybe puts some, that's a little bit out of some people's price range. So what we try and do is have workshops regularly that are much lower price. So maybe it would be something like 40 Rand for an hour, but then you're in a small group environment rather than one-on-one. So we do try and combat the affordability as best we can.
100%. And just as we planning to land the plane here, how do people get hold of Brett or some of the other tutors of Math and Me if they want to inquire a little bit more about the service offerings?
All right. My personal number is on all my email signatures, but I wouldn't encourage parents to message me on my personal number. We do have a mobile number for the business. We find that WhatsApp works best. People love chatting on WhatsApp. So you can reach us on 061 422 9439. But also just pop us an email at info@mathandme.co.za, and they'll be able to get in touch with someone that will assist. Usually quite quick on the responses.
Mr. Van Der Posch.
Mr.
Well, that posh surname.
Hoping it takes me far one day. Hoping it takes me far.
No. You're already on your way there, brother. No. Listen, again, I like engaging and connecting and collaborating with people who make a difference, man, in the lives of ordinary people. And you guys certainly are one such offering. And so thank you, man, for coming on board.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you for coming on board and talk to us about what you are to do and what you guys are offering struggling learners and schools. And so we sincerely hope that your business and your service will grow from strength to strength. And I trust that I can call you now a friend of the Western Cape Teachers Forum. And so if at any time you wish to come on and tell us about more success stories, please feel free to engage us further. And so I wish you a blessed and a good day.
Thank you so much, Lee. As long as the riddles are a bit easier next time, I'm definitely keen on returning.
No, I just sounded quiet because I had the odds in front of me, but I wouldn't have got the odds. All right, man. All the best. You keep well.
Thank you so much, sir.